Hi guys! Hi Lise, hi San! Hi Scout! How is everyone today? Hey Box of Paint! I am exhausted. I'm really tired. Hey Juma, hi! Hi Cleo! Hi guys! Really glad to see you. All of you. Yeah, good. Sound is good. Visuals is good. Awesome. I have an extra light today because I set it up to take photos. Otto! Yee! Yay! Oh my gosh, I hope you won't use up all the data connection thingy. Because yeah, internet is not good everywhere in the world. And I'm always surprised when Otto talks about how much time it takes her to upload stuff, because you wouldn't think that where she lives there would be better internet, but not that much. Oh no, Cleo, that sounds like a bummer. 144p. Awesome! That works. I am pixelated to bits. Oh, that's okay. It's not even your favorite cat on the screen, so you're not missing much. I have fiber, at least bragged. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you would technically think that perhaps more rural, anyway, areas would not have a good connection, but speaking with Dan and speaking with Otto, and I realized that a lot of people in the UK don't have really good, a really good connection. Covered in white paint. Oh, you wanna hear something absurd that I was told one day. I was working with a friend, and we were working on a job on a production somewhere, and my friend would do the colors on the backgrounds of the project we were working on, and for one of the settings, she colored the room white and had everything to fit with white walls. And it was sent for approval, and you know it goes back up the chain for approval, and if there are corrections, it goes back down to the people, to us who do the correction, and then it goes back up and it comes back down anyway. And it went up and it came back with the following correction, that white walls looked like it was for poor people. Like white walls looked cheap. Something for poor people, and we sort of just looked at one each other with consternation, and we were like, is this for real? Is this actually happening? I'm sorry, what? And funnily enough, I mean, from what I've seen of interior design trends lately, there's a lot of white walls and accessories and stuff, you know, and like it's just white. It's not. It's just white. It's nothing. It's nothing. Or it just looks super Scandinavian. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, anyway, it's fairly obvious that the person who sent this correction was really talking out of their butt. But I mean, that's what we said. That we look at each other, me and my friend, and we're like, well, I guess I'm really, really bored then, because we painted everything white, so it was on purpose. We made everything white because you wanted it white, so I guess we are really, really poor. And yeah, it became a joke, but I was still really, really surprised that this person would sort of have this sort of preconception, stupid thing about white walls being for poor people. I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? Usually, if you are technically too poor for paint, you will have really, really weird walls of all sorts of colors, and all sorts of previous holes in them from people who put frame there before. Hey, Cyan! Yeah, everything is white there, including your dog. Yeah, you can't deal with such people. That's a fair point. But that's the problem too. It's like these people, they're the one who they feel like their opinion is completely valid, and they make you work harder because they take your work and they say stupid stuff like that, and they send you the work back and are like, fix this, and you're like, well, it's not broken technically. You just have a different opinion. But San says, I'm going with white because there used to be dark purple. Oh wow, that's like the opposite. But it made the room too dark and depressing. Yeah. Once I'm done, I'm gonna cheer it up with a gazillion plants. That's the thing. A white... It's not broken. You're broke. But yeah, I mean, white walls, they're exactly like a blank canvas. So you can put whatever frames on them, whatever decor, accents. You can change the furniture if you want. Say you want to change the cushions on your couch. Well, they don't have to match with anything, you know. It's white. It goes with everything, literally. Anyway, that was a stupid thing. That one job was really, really weird. Your mom is broken. That's an option. That's possible. Well, I'm trying to grab this thing. Like that one job experience was really, really bad, except for the fact that I met a really, really good friend there. But it wasn't a great place to work with. Not necessarily, not because like the people were bad or all of that, but it never made you feel like your work was appreciated. At least she got paid. Yeah, I guess that's one way we could put it. But we sort of paid really, really... we paid a lot back in a way, like my friend, like the job really messed up with our brains and our perceptions of our skills and ourselves, and it's not super great when you're a creative people to, like, I think we are all already fairly like fluid people, like we will change moods and mindsets, and like it's a bit tempestuous, a creative, I feel, and that job sort of threw a wrench into the whole system in our heads, and my friend was more affected by it, but like I just went on the automatic, and I was like, yep, whatever, they want the Photoshop monkey, I will be the Photoshop monkey, the end. But it was really not a really rewarding job in a way. And us, temperamental? No, never. Thing is, I think as far as temperamental artist goes, I am not the most temperamental. I still have a lot of triggers, but like I've seen artists really throw tantrums for stupid things, like Stuart Semple and the other guy, about the stupid black pigment, whatever. Like, I feel like those are tantrums that are really, really more, really the trait of an artist, but yeah. Anish Kapoor. I remembered the Kapoor part, but I could not remember the first name, but yeah. I mean, their stupid squabble is a good example of artists being a bit too temperamental for silly things. Yeah, that's the same kind of mindset of Archambault. Archambault says, when I was a developer, we used to get all kinds of strange requests, and you wonder what goes through peeps' heads. Exactly. Stuff like, make my site pop, grumble. Make this more edgy. Like, buzzwords are the worst. You're like, what does it mean? Like, this is not... I mean, it looks like constructive criticism, but it's not, because it's an abstract. Like, make something more edgy. It's like, well, define edgy, because your perception of edgy is not going to be the same as mine. No. So if I make this more edgy for me, you might look at it and think that it's less edgy. So what's going on? Anyway, I'm rambling. Well, this is the this is the good place for rambling, I guess. Edgy, lots of angles. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, like it messed up a bit with our, because like when you work, when you are hired to do a job, as far as I can tell, most people would get into that job with the mindset of doing the best they can and using their experience, because you're like, they hired me for a reason. They hired me for my experience, for my portfolio, for my technical skills. You know, they picked me for a reason. So when you get to do the job, you use what you know, and you use your skills to is infer the right word, but to feed into how you do your job, you know. And you get feedback, and you adjust according to the feedback, and ultimately the goal is to be part of a machine that works well. Like, everyone does a part, and it should work well. Like, you get the work from the person before you do your job, and you pass it on to the person after you, and no problem, no unnecessary back and forth, you know, that kind of stuff. But with that job, that one specific job, it was really weird, because we would try to put some of our knowledge and skills into what we were doing, but it would not be important. And whenever we would try to give some sort of feedback according to what we felt, what our experience told us, it would always be dismissed, even if it proved to be right further on. So it was like a crazy freaking job in a way, because if you tried to trust your instinct and your knowledge, it would be shut down, even if you ended up being right at the end. So it was like really, really insane, you know, like a madhouse. I think that's the proper way to describe it. It really felt insane, because we were like, I cannot trust what I think, I cannot trust what I know, I cannot trust what I feel is right, because there's no way to know how they will take what I've done and ask me to adjust it. Yeah, it was really exhausting. And it was supposed to be, let's say it was supposed to be a 9-month contract. It lasted like twice that. They had to prolong our contracts and whatnot. And in the end, I left, because I was like, I told them, was like, okay, you've renewed me for like an extra 2 months, then an extra X month, I don't remember, but, and I was like, well, on that specific date in the future, I stop. I don't work beyond that date for you guys. I'm doing something else. The end. So yeah, I think that's how I was able to sort of opt out of there. But yeah, it was a really weird place, and it was a bit of a bummer, because since you can't really invest of yourself in the work, ultimately you don't have much you can put in your portfolio and be proud of. So you basically spend a year and a half working on something where you get paid. Sure, you get money, fine, but you try to put your creativity to good use, and it doesn't work. And then whatever you manage to do, you don't like it, so you cannot use this to help build yourself to a better job, you know. So it's really weird, kind of messed up system. From what I've heard, it used to be a lot better, but then the animation industry sort of tanked really bad. So yeah, and you don't always have what's the word, benefits, social benefits. like insurance and all of that, since it's contractual work, most of the time you don't get any of that. So you don't have health insurance, you don't have, often you don't really have vacation time, because they sort of just go by the idea that you'll be able to take days off once the contract is over, and if you have to do overtime, you will get the money then. Anyway, it's messed up. Anyway, since it's usually a kind of schedule where you don't have the luxury of taking days off. Yeah, that's true. Lee said it's amazing how much it means for quality of life, what kind of people we work with. Exactly. And sometimes it's really, really minor stuff. Like, I was talking about this with a friend not long ago, and sometimes just having something that is well organized, like not too many sudden I call them like sudden death rush deadlines. They come up to you all flustered, and they're like, oh, we have to deliver this stuff on Monday, first hour Monday, the big boss is gonna see it then, or something along those lines. And I've never seen one of these situations where the boss indeed saw it like super early. He doesn't give a crap. He won't check that up like Monday morning 7 a.m. No way. And it's like, why do I have to finish this like on a super intense deadline? Like, if I can't finish it on the Friday, I have to come in the weekend and work like overtime to get stuff done, and ultimately it doesn't even matter. Most of the time they don't even check it. Like, they check it like the Wednesday the next week. Like, it was not a real rush thing. No one's gonna die if you don't deliver something in animation on time. What's too freaking stupid. Hey, Maureen. That's a good one. Maureen says, employees don't quit jobs, they quit people. I think I'm gonna try sketching the kitty I've seen on Twitter. It's really cute short video of a kitty who is like really adorable, and I've retweeted it on my account. But basically, cute kitten is like sitting down in a bed, and they put the blanket over him or her, and the kitten is like all happy and knitting, and then they bring his teddy bear, and he grabs the teddy bear, and it's like the cutest thing ever. So I just wanted to, doesn't really show that it's a teddy bear because I've cut off the part of the head, but yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing. Also quite in character. Hey, Misha, hi. Misha says the last job I had just quit. The company went out of business. Yee. Maybe you dodged a good you dodged a bad one there. Also, drawing this cat is sort of fitting because I feel tired, so. I don't exactly remember what the bear is like. I think he has some sort of clothing, but I'm just gonna give it pants, I think. Oh my gosh, this is gonna look so weird. This is just gonna look like a cat hugging a really large thing. Like a really large humanoid thing on the side. That's interesting. Buxa Paint says, on a quick side note, they seem to have lied in the comments on your Turner video. They are suddenly much more expensive, and first thing I've seen on Jackson that the recommended retail price is lower. I was surprised too. They are quite expensive on Jackson's. They're like between $6 and $12. And I was looking on Jerry's Artorama, and they were between $3 and possibly $10. Yeah. Like, they are great paints, but well, still $6, I guess, is sort of cheaper than what you would pay for another brand. But yeah, are they worth paying that kind of money for them? Maybe not. Depends on the color. The paints are so expensive. I really hate it. And no one was ever surprised about that. But I mean, sometimes I see, what's the brand that I saw? I think it was I was checking some chart, and one of my Holbein chart, I don't remember, I think it might have been for the regular gouache, but they had like series G. And I was like, what? So wait, so A, B, C, D, I can't do that in English. A, B, C, D. So they have like 7 levels of pricing. That's kind of insane. Oh, that's really cool, Buxa Paint. Buxa Paint says, I survived my first art class, but the teacher was showing us how to soften hard lines and kept sucking on his brush to ew! What? Ew! What the? What? Oh my. What the heck? Ew! I'm really grossed out by this. Oh, why would you put your brush in your mouth? But I mean, it's not the same, Michelle. Like, licking pen nibs, I would not recommend it, but I can sort of see it better than sucking on the brush. Ugh. Blech. This is just gonna look like a cat that has a giant humanoid shaped body pillow. Oh no, help, this drawing turned out to be really, really weird. Good intentions, but possibly a really unsettling result. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. Yeah, it's possible Van Gogh licked his brushes too, but he was not the most mentally sound people either. And it's hard to say which one led to the other. Ew, and I don't think spit is archival. Yuck. Ugh. Wow, that's a really weird story. Teacher is kind of unsettling. Oh, don't worry about it, Misha, that's fine. Like, can you imagine the teacher looking at his paint palette and going like, and choosing colors and like having to remind himself which colors he can't lick, he can lick the brush and which he can't. That's such a... How about you don't do that, Mr. Teacher? Alright, let's sketch something else. Because why not? That's really cute. Lee says, I told my nephew yesterday that some of my art supplies have cobalt in them. And he was like, what? He's 10 and very fascinated with radiation and toxins and such at the moment. That's pretty cute. Alright guys, what should I sketch as the second thing that possibly is not gonna end up as weird as my first idea? I have really, really low energy levels all the time. It's really bothering me. And I guess, like, I saw the therapist yesterday, and she was like, maybe you should see your doctor and ask a full hormone panel blood work to see what could cause you to be tired every single day. And I was like, maybe I should. Maybe that's not the really stupid idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Hey, Grouchy, hi. A cat in a bunny hat. Aw. I'm sure that's a really good idea. Yeah. There's there's a good reason why Crayola are safe for kids. And have been... Scott! Have been for a while. Oh, I got a weird... Where is it? Did I put it? Oh, put it back. So I got this weird green tea and herbs candy. And I'm gonna give it a try. The herbal stuff sometimes really tastes like you tripped and fell in the garden and just chewed down whatever you fell on. Oh, that's weird. That's really cute, San. San says, drawing idea. Cats eating citrus fruits and making those weird, funny, disgusted faces. I was going to say chlorophyll flavored and then was reminded it's a gum flavor in Canada and so good. Isn't it weird though that we have chlorophyll flavored stuff? Hey, Alexandra, hi. I'm trying to remember the kind of faces especially Peko would make when she was like really grossed out by something. Anyone else here gearing up for Inktober? Still not sure if I want to do it or not. I would not be following any prompt lists if I was to do it. It's already hard enough to come up with something. I feel like the prompt list doesn't really help. Hey, Bestet, hi. Hey, Reason Hater, how are you? I'm good. Still not a Reason fan. Do you even hate the California raisins? They were never really big. Oh, Ellen, hi. Welcome. Oh my gosh. If you ever receive a 100-pound bag of raisins in the mail, you'll know that I won the lottery and sent it as a prank. I ate quite a lot of them as a kid. They were often like the little Sun-made boxes. I would get those in my lunch box and would eat them, but oh, allergic to raisins. Well, being allergic to food is not practical, but I think in the case of raisins, at least you're not missing much. Raisins as Halloween candy were evil. I agree so much, Ellen. It's like, oh, ew. Dude, Halloween is supposed to be about candy and supposed to be fun. The tiny boxes are hilarious. Like, you would never think they could cram so much raisins into one tiny cardboard box. It's like so compact. And yeah, they are quite dry, and some of them are like sandy a bit. Ugh. Bad memories. Wow, this is also a really, really silly drawing, I guess. If you give out raisins at Halloween, prepare to have your house or car vandalized. Yeah. I mean, also, usually, like, whatever parents that are a bit more on edge about the, like, I don't know if you guys used to do that, whoever who did trick-or-treating, but first thing you do when you get home is you empty your bag of treats on the floor and you start sorting them out. Like all the separate all the types of chocolate candy, and also everything that is unwrapped or that the packaging has opened, or that kind of stuff would always get tossed. And I feel like the box of raisins, I am not quite sure my mom would let me keep those. Not that they are any good anyway, but you know. Oh, that's okay, Otto. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really glad you were able to pop in for a moment. Have a really great evening, Otto. Hey, hi Lena. Oh, sad to see that you've not been feeling great, Lana. That really, really sucks. Yikes. Thanks, Liz. This is so silly. So this week I tried to stop taking my allergy meds and it was not the best idea. I still need them, I guess. So I had forgotten how like all the effects I get from the allergies because I've been taking the meds for most of the summer. So I was like, I had forgotten like how bad everything feels when I don't take the meds. Oh, that's interesting. Bastet says, reading a sci-fi romance novel, having a hard time getting into it. Could you be with an alien man who looked like a lizard? For your information, he's strong, kind, devoted to you, perfect in every other way. That's a good question. I'm trying to see what I would do. Ellen says it's still ragweed season. Oh, is that the one that feels that feels awful? that's the thing with meds, is that, well, unless it's a medication that you know you'll have to take forever, like anxiety meds or something like that. But with the allergy meds in the winter, I don't really need it, and I don't know what's the plant that's causing me to have these effects. So I was like, well, it's fall, right? There's a chance that the herb is no longer in the air, so I might be fine without the meds. And I was running out of them, so I was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna try for a couple of days to not take them. And yeah, that was not the thing to do. Your question, Bastet, reminds me of the movie The Shape of Water. Like, I think I could be friend with the lizard guy, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. Trying to think, like, in terms of stuff like Mass Effect, for those who've played Mass Effect. Well, you have the possibility to romance your can I say, alien comrades. And one of them is sort of a lizard guy too. One is like big bird dude with not really feathers, but oh jeez, I can't find the word. Anyway, it was pretty weird in Mass Effect, like pretty weird. Oh, I agree, Ellen. Ellen says, I always thought The Shape of Water was Del Toro's Ape Sapien from Hellboy fanfiction. It's definitely his mature audience fanfiction type thing. I have a hard time with a lot of Del Toro's creatures. Well, the ones that want to eat cats. I don't really do that. I love Hellboy because he likes cat. But whatever eats cats, I'm like, no. I know in the lore trolls eat cats, but alright, I'll go get some water for painting. I'll be right back. That's also true, Amisha. That's a really good point. See, that's kind of the approach I had when I was playing the game I was talking about, Mass Effect, where there's the possibility where the main character that you play can have a romantic sort of relationship with a friend, a fellow, a non-player character, so another character in the game. And I was like, well, since they're definitely not compatible in terms of biology, in the sense that one is an alien and the other one is a human, I was like, oh, well, this is pretty neat. They're going about this in a way that it's not about, you know, the reproduction and the steamy part of it. It's just about like compatibility and connecting with someone. But then they really implied some biological stuff, and I got really, really confused. I was like, I think I possibly preferred my approach. It raised less questions, to be sure. I was like, this is kind of a level of details that I don't require in my games. I was fine without it. Why? Why do you put all these questions in my head? Like, I was fine without them. I was doing really good, actually. I did not really like Shape of Water either, personally. Misha says, children at my age would be like finding myself in a horror movie. Oh, that's pretty cool, Grouchy. Viridian is really nice. It's just a bummer that it kind of doesn't re-wet really easily. But that's the only, like, sort of issue with it. It's not a big deal breaker. How did it go with the you? I think you said that you were gonna visit your granddaughter, like, not long ago, Amisha, or is it in the near future? There's always cat fur in my brushes. Like, always. Oh, they only live an hour away. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Do you drive, Amisha? Like, do you go there on your own, or? Alright. So I was thinking recently, like, I work quite a lot with my Schmincke 24 color tin. This one. And some colors are getting pretty low. And I know that some of them I really want to replenish. Like, I know that the Ultramarine Finest, I will just refill the pan. But since I have a lot of sets, I was wondering how I should go about it when I finish a color. Like, I don't know if I should see about eventually buying a tube of that color to refill it, or if I instead should perhaps only remove the empty pan and try to use up the rest, or look in my other sets and bring in a pan of something else. I don't know how to go about this. Yeah, that blue is lovely. It's mostly Schmincke's indigo blue. Hold on, let me see if that's the proper name for it. Oops. Put paint everywhere, of course. Yeah, it's indigo. It's a mix of phthalo blue and synthetic indigo, I think. It's a really, really nice indigo color. Hey Lee, hi! Oh my gosh. Yeah, it doesn't have any black in it, which is perfect. It's really mostly the synthetic one, unless there's a third pigment in there that I didn't see because it was hidden underneath my my dioxazine. No, I think it's only 2 colors and no black, so makes for a much more versatile color, I find. I can't believe they put a bit of black in their burnt sienna. This is offensive. I'm offended. Oh, that's a good idea. San says, I personally want to replace my half pans with full pans eventually, so every time I run out of a half pan, I can have a bigger pan that I can replace with pans that are much easier, that are easier on my brushes. Yeah, that's a thing too. Like if I notice that I'm always using the same colors, but the thing is that I would have to use up the colors I don't use so that I could remove them and then have full pans of the colors that I do use a lot. But since it's the colors that I don't really use that I need to remove, I'm never gonna get there unless I make it a challenge to sort of use up yellow and Prussian blue. Yeah, I don't really use a lot of yellows and Prussian blue, and this one I don't remember what this one is. Might be phthalo blue. That was really outside the line. Like, really badly. Oh yeah, if you are using a cheap plastic palette and tubes, that's really, really softer on brushes. I keep painting outside the lines. Oh well. I think this is just a sketch then. Yeah, that's another thing also. Large brushes, they really don't fit into half pans. And if you like to paint with flat brushes, that's even worse. That's a weird, like, I feel like that's a really weird thing to sort of balance out, is that when you begin painting, you don't necessarily know which colors you are gonna use, and you maybe not know, and you might not know how to go about choosing a first few colors to try it out, you know. So chances are you're gonna buy a set, and most sets are pans, so you have a set of pans, and eventually you want to try other colors, and you want to, you know, you sort of want to try a bunch of things, and it can be a bit difficult to figure it out, and by the time one figures it out, well, you already have a bunch of supplies that are maybe not the best fit for what you like to do. So it's a bit tricky. Like, when I see artists like the first one that comes to mind is Jean Ains. Like, she has her palette and it's all like it's dirty, like it's used, and but thing is that she's been painting for many years, and she knows what she likes, and she knows the colors that work for her right now. So it's much easier to set this up when you've been painting for a while and you've sort of get a feel for which colors you like and which colors you don't really like. So it's kind of difficult. Like, it's as if part of being a beginner is about trying way too many things. So if you manage to keep it fairly simple and use a palette that's easier on the brushes, I think that's a really good way to keep going. Like, not everyone knows that like tubes will dry out, and some companies like Winsor and Newton, they like to pretend that the tube paints don't dry well, but that's really stupid, because the whole point of watercolor is that it uses gum arabic, and gum arabic is rewettable. Like, it's definitely a marketing ploy to try and have people buy more of their pre-made pans, but that's stupid. It's really stupid, and it's really not nice for the customers. Yeah, the pans and the tubes or Winsor & Newton are different. San says, I like using a 1-inch flat. Try stuffing that in a half pan. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't... I mean, even a cheap plastic palette, you know, the most common ones, it's gonna be pretty hard to do anything with the 1-inch brush in there. You kind of really need to expand your... you can go two way about it, I feel. You can go the, like, I don't want to bother with it too much and get just a ceramic plate. And you put blobs of paints in there and you're gonna have room for your 1-inch brush for sure. Or you really have to look into getting a bigger palette. I know that the Zoltan Sabo palette is made to use with larger brushes. Because that's what he used to love to use. Used to love to use, yeah. Great sentence. Good job. Also be warned, the 48 set from Schmincke will literally cut you to ribbons. Never had a palette that was so sharp. Oh yeah, Schmincke are all over the place in terms of the actual palette. I don't know if you can see on this one here, but the 24 set is great that it has rolled edges around here. And once you clipped the tray in place and set it so it doesn't move, you're not really in contact with the sharp edges of the tray, but that's not the case for all of their palettes. Let's see if I can find... Oh, that's a generic one. So that's a tin for 48 colors of Schmincke. So if you look at this one, this is not finished. This is not a rolled edge, and it's really super duper sharp. That's like really evil. That's super dangerous, and I don't know why they do that. Besides, you cannot clip the tray in place if the edges are not rolled. Like, you can sort of fit it in tightly if you adjust these tabs. Like, oh yeah, it's not gonna, you know, move around much, but I can still like just pop it off like super easily and cut my hand on the process. Not now, but like this is super sharp. Why is it not rolled? That edge is pure evil, I agree. Oh my gosh, it is really, really, really evil. And like, I think most of the 24 palettes from Schmincke at least have the rolled edge, so there's that. But I mean, why is it sharp? Why? Yeah, that's the thing. Also, you can get some unbranded, cheaper metal palettes and they will have the rolled edges. So, what's the deal? What's going on? Hey, Beth! That sounds like a really recurring situation for many of us, though. Beth says, I just put a bunch of Cremer Metallic in my shopping cart, made an account, and then came to my senses and closed the browser. Well, if you are in the US, it's really not that bad to order from Cremer because I think you might have a better deal on shipping than we do. And no chances of getting caught at customs, which is super great. But I would recommend waiting for... I think they have a sale that's like 20% off or twice a year. And I think one is Thanksgiving. Anyway, I know that Cremer has sales during the year. Not often, but they do. So if you are really interested in getting Cremer paints but are in no hurry, just wait a bit. And then you're going to be able to score the paints at a discount. Lise, that's funny. Lise says, it seems like such an un-German thing to do, those sharp schminke palettes. I think no one should leave sharp edges on a palette, unless they really want people to hurt themselves. I don't get it. It's really, really sharp. Wait, I think the kitten from the video has white paws. What kind of red and purple color are those palettes? I usually just put a bunch of stickers on my palettes. I don't think I've done it with this one, but that's usually how it ends up. Because yeah, when you have like more than 3 black palettes, it's not always easy to figure out which is which. Ooh, gold lavender. Ooh, nice. Oh yeah, by all means. Would love to see the palettes on Discord, Lana. I feel like that. Hey, Squirrel Bears, hi. Squirrel Bears says, I feel like that ridiculously over-engineered cylindrical, anyway, special edition palette Schminke made is the epitome of a German palette. Yeah, I think I agree. The only, like, I've seen it, everybody's seen it. It's their, like, the Joseph Horadam one or something. And it's pretty neat. I think you basically rotate the thing and the pan sort of, the pen compartments sort of pop out and they can pop back in, but I can't imagine myself painting with that thing because you don't have access to all the colors at once since they are all around that stupid cylinder. And I feel like if you try to put too much weight on a palette, I wonder if it would sort of make the thing wobbly or tip it over. Like, I appreciate that it's truly a super expensive collector item, but it doesn't feel as useful as other things I've seen them make. I think at some point they had a special edition 12 color tin that was made of sterling silver. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, but at least it's useful. You know, you can still use it. It's unbelievably way too fancy, but you can use it. Like, it's a palette like, you know, the standard metal 12 palettes, but the tin was made of silver instead of whatever this is. So yeah, it's always a moment of like, what? Why would sterling silver tarnish immediately with watercolor? I don't know, maybe I don't remember right, but I think that was basically the rundown of it. Hey, Heather! Yay! Our very own cat lady. Lee says, yeah, someone should have stopped the person designing that. Like, gone, no, Heinrich, I can't say that. No, we put the pencil down now. Put the pencil down. I am warning you. Stop designing weird things that are absolutely not useful. That's why I can sort of tolerate most of their special edition things because they're still useful. Like all the leather sets, like it doesn't change much to the usability of the palette. The fact that it comes in a nice leather sort of bag that you can put your palette in and a couple of things, you know, like that doesn't prevent me from using the palette efficiently. But that cylindrical thingy, I'm like, it's fun to look at, but it doesn't feel that useful. I wonder if you could get it. You get this cylindrical Joseph Haradam thing and sort of remove all the pans because it's fairly useless, and you put like hair plants or succulents or cacti in there. And then you try not to close it. We're still glad to have you around, Heather. That's fine. Oh, hey, speaking of cleaning and cats, oh, you didn't see the Joseph Haradam thingy, Beth? No, maybe I can try to doodle it. I don't know if that's gonna show. I don't feel like that's gonna show. Oh, I gotta show you that thing too, because it's kind of funny. They made a fly swatter shaped in the face of a local politician a couple years back. And I think that's kind of funny. So you have this fly swatter thing, and that's the face of one of our former local politicians. and you could smack flies with it. Oh, for Pete's sake, give me a sheet. Okay, the schminke thing. Yeah, that is Jean Charest, indeed. Right, so picture a kind of a cylindrical contraption, okay? It's a bit like this, and it probably has like a section at the top that's a bit like a cog, you know. Oh, this is so bad. Like, you know, just so you can grab it more easily. And it has like all kind of metal parts, and it's all fancy and stuff. And it has like these sections in the... I'm going from memory, okay, so I might not get it exactly right, but it has these sections, and each section has like compartments. And these compartments, if you look from the top, and you have the top of this cylinder, which is a circle, these compartments, they can sort of pop out like this. Like they can pop out and they can pop back in. And in that you have the half pan. And basically every like section has a certain number of compartments that can pop out like that. And they are like not one on top of the other. There's a oh, what's the word I'm looking for? But anyway, it makes it so when you sort of open the cylinder, you basically have all the 12 colors that pop out of compartments on the different levels. So it opens out, and from the top you have all these things, but they're on 3 different layers. So it's a pretty awesome thing to look at, but it's absolutely not useful. It is like $1,000, this palette. At least it comes with the paints, but yeah, it is like insanely expensive, absolutely impractical, and basically just a collector's item for very rich people. And you don't have any mixing space, like it's really not practical. It's like, yeah, with the Daniel Smith palette, it's an insanely good definition example of non-practical things, because you really can't use it for painting much. You have to put the half pans into a different palette or carry some kind of mixing palette with it so you can do so. Anyway, like if I found even if I found money on the floor, if I won an insane amount of money, perhaps I would get it. Like, but yeah, I feel it's kind of insulting too to get it, because it's like I could probably give a bunch of money to like have a sort of a giveaway and give you guys the equivalent in like maybe a bunch of prizes, and you would maybe find more use out of that than just see me look at the thing. I'm pretty sure if you look it on YouTube, you can find a video of the thing operating, and that's about as satisfying as it gets. Like, once you've seen it, you're like, oh yeah, that's it. It better come with a sponge bath and a bottle or two. That is for posh people that think they are artists. That well said. Well said. Or really, really rich collectioners of all things schminke. Or museums, maybe. Sounds like a case of more money than brain cells. Ah! That's a good one, Heather. Oh yeah, the Faber-Castell box. Did you guys see the hold on, I'm blanking on him. But there's a Faber-Castell box named after a designer. And it costs like $3,000, and it's like insane. It like unfolds and opens, and you're like, Well, that's kind of cool, but nope. I dream of finding an old paint box in a secondhand store. Misha, that's really nice. I kind of wish I could walk into a yard sale one day or an antique shop and find one too, just because it would be really kind of like I feel like I could give that item a good home where it would be loved and used. Oh, I agree. Lee said, if I had that kind of money, I think I'd spring for an insane custom brass palette with wells instead. Same thing. At least that would be useful, you know? I think even the... oh no, perhaps not, but like the sterling silver palette was expensive, but I don't think it was as expensive as the silly Joseph Horodam one. Ooh, that's awesome, Ellen. Ellen says, I found antique chalk pastels in an antique store, came home, found they're still being made, and ooh, pricey. I saw that there's a real market for holder sewing machines for people who like to do quilting. Like some antique machines that are completely mechanical, they still work really, really well for a certain type of quilting, from what I gather. And I think that's awesome. Not the fact that you can sort of make a lot of money by finding one and selling it, but the fact that something old that was well made and can still be used hasn't had an equivalent, like a modern equivalent yet. Like you still can't beat this old thing. And I think that's kind of great. Oh wow, that's so cool, Amisha. Amisha says, I have an antique pen nib pre 1929 that I found that way for $1. Juki machines are beasts. That's a sewing machine, is it? Unfortunately, the sewing tables are much easier to find than the actual sewing machine. Uh-oh. Heather has some cat shenanigans going on. Why, Tucker, why? He feels the need to ride on my shoulder and let his back legs dangle down my back while shoving his face into the palm of my hand. Cat. Aww. Cat nanigans. Well, you know what? In French, cat is chat. So shenanigans is not very far from being shenanigans. Oh, why did your ex kept the sewing machine, Misha? Sometimes well, unless they had a use for it, but sometimes these things can be really silly. If it's not Tucker, it's Havoc. If it's not Havoc, it's Bruiser. Well, you know, Heather, I think that some of this can be expected because you don't have just one or two cats. You have a bit more cats than that. So, yes, the more cats one has, the more chances there is of getting a cat on the face, on the head. I was playing with Scout earlier and she felt like fighting. Doesn't happen a lot. And I played with her like with my sleeve rolled up like this and she still managed to bit through it. Not to the blood, but I have quite a few like minor scratches. It's like, what's feeling angsty today, you little tortoise shell? Ooh. Vintage sock knitting machines from the late 1800s. Oh man, anything to not have to knit socks myself. Seriously. Blah. Birds can really bite through the skin super easily. I've been bitten once by one of them and I was like, whoa. Sharp little beak. Oh, that's cute. Well, yeah, chat won't show it, but at least that's really cute. I have no idea why YouTube wanted to hold up that comment. A little fat otter has happened on my paper. I'm trying to find it. Oh my gosh, it makes a sock in minutes instead of days. Oh, that's the dream. Socks are the thing I cannot wrap my brain around, because I'm like, you have to make one, and it's like all, like, I can crochet fine, but knitting is still a bit like an unknown to me, so it's kind of baffling to imagine having to do the heel and the toes, and I'm like, well, I have no idea. And then once you manage to finish one, you have to make a second sock. Like, what? No, that's dumb. I'm gonna make just one. Here, have your one sock. Deal with it. Oh, are you? Oh my gosh, Boxa Paint. What? Boxa Paint says, I forgot I was going to post my mom's demon dog unraveled an entire blanket and about 10 balls of yarn to make a nest. What? Oh, Heather. Yeah, it's visible. Thank you so much for approving it, Heather. Yeah, exactly, Squirrel Bear. Same thing. Squirrel Bear said, I need a sock knitting machine. Cut to 3 weeks later, and I'm just sitting in my flat amongst thousands of socks. She was almost done with an Afghan, and there is a small scarf size left of it. Oh my gosh, that dog would go in the trash. I would bin it. Like, alright, dog. Bye bye. Gone. Haha, would that make it an Afghan hound? Oh my, Heather. Heather is really good with the puns. Used to be quite the pair, Heather and Grace. They would destroy everything with their puns. I had a really weird dream not long ago where I dreamt that I had gotten a dog, like, not, I had inherited a dog from someone. Not in the sense that when you inherit after someone passes, but just like someone gave me their dog. Like, I was like, oh, okay. And it was kind of it was a big golden, and I was like, oh, I have this dog now. Okay, fine. And I don't remember, dreams are always really weird, but I was trying to get the dog a certain type of harness, I think, or collar or something, and I ended up going into a shop and getting a second dog. And when I woke up, it was really weird because I was like, oh, I could really use a dog. Like, I feel like I want a dog, and I was like, this is so uncharacteristic to me of me. What's going on? Oh my gosh, really? Thank you for that disgusting sound, stranger. The middle cat looks like Jackie from Nerdy Crafter. I don't think I know who that is. Yeah, these feelings after realistic dreams are really, really weird. I don't really... Thing is that the dreams, whenever I wake up, I realize right away that they're not realistic one bit, but my awareness of the dream when I was dreaming it, it felt really real. Like, it felt like this was logical and sound and made sense. So I'm always confused when I wake up. And sometimes, some days I go, like, I have moments where I think, oh yeah, and that thing happened. No, that was the dream. That one was in the dream, not in real life. I have to put a distinction. Oh, she's also from Quebec. What? Hold on. Let me write this down so I can check it out later. Huh. She tests out craft kits, makes clay items, etc. Oh. Put a Squirtle hat on and boom. Oh, I'll have to go check it out. I'm behind on my watching of YouTube stuff. I'm also behind on my making YouTube videos, which bothers me. I had a decent thing going on, but then I went to see my family and it sort of threw a wrench in my schedule. I call this the lemon challenge. See who can bite through lemons and not make a face. Oh, ew. Amisha, that sounds like a really confusing thing when you finally wake up for real. Amisha says, I had a dream once where I kept dreaming that I woke up and got up repeatedly. It was too surreal. Ooh, risen aquariums. When finding crappy parts of kits, she puts her hands up like that middle cat and usually has saltiness intensifies on the screen. That sounds really, really funny. Here, that's a background color for cyan. Bright green. Oops. She has a parrot and a cat, and so she's good in that respect. Oh, that's really cool. That's right. I can see why kits, reviewing kits would be really useful. Because yeah, I mean, sometimes you just think like, hey, I'm gonna grab a kit. That's pretty cool. Like I've gotten many kits as a kid that I thought were really, really fun. But I agree that you never quite know what you're getting in there and how fun it actually is. Or sometimes, I don't know, kits that like you get it and you realize that you're missing half the stuff to actually do what the kit is supposed to allow you to do. I don't know, I'm not saying that they did that, but as an example that I'm inventing on the spot, say you would have something like a Fimo kit. Fimo is this, you know, this modeling clay that you can bake in the oven and it becomes hard. And say you get a kit for that, and it's not quite clear on the box that the kit doesn't come with the clay itself. So it's kind of a bummer to receive that kind of kit and realize that it's missing the really key component. Wait, what? Alright, hold on. Buxabane says, just got the end of a show my hubby's watching. New Cadbury bar with 30% less sugar but more fat. Hold on, I'm trying to think why that would be a good idea. Oh, calling the parrot a chicken, that's really funny. Hey Val, hi. I will definitely go check out Nerdy Crafter after, well, later on today, after the live stream. They don't advertise it's more fat. We were watching them test market people, and the smart ones asked the right questions. Oh, I still want to try the Beyond Meat stuff. Like, I don't think they're trying to... My perspective on the Beyond Meat stuff is, I don't feel like it's trying to be healthier. I just think it's trying to be a way to eat ground meat that is not actually from animals. So everything that you would eat ground meat, like hot dogs and burgers and that kind of stuff, but like a good dupe for actual meat. The only way it's healthier, I don't think it's necessarily for the humans, I think it's for the planet. But yeah, I don't know what's their marketing angle for the Beyond Meat stuff. I have yet to try it. It really just landed at our grocery store. We saw it for the first time a couple of weeks ago, but I kind of forgot about it this week. But we need to try it. I really want to try it because it looks like it reproduces well the feel of like a good sausage. Because that's the thing, the texture is not quite there when you get to meatless sausages, and I don't mind it every once in a while, but it's different. And sometimes you want to eat a sausage, but you don't necessarily want to kill animals to do it. This is such a first world problem. Oh my gosh. Hey, Misha, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. Oh, I agree entirely, Heather. Heather says the problem with American food and obesity has a lot to do with portion sizes. And I agree. Oh, nice try. Ellen says, I tried the Tim Hortons breakfast sandwich with it on it, but it still has egg on the sandwich. Irony for the win. Yeah, sugar is added to everything. I think in part because there is a way too much sweetener available, like corn syrup and all of that, and they don't know what to do, like how to use up all that stuff. So they add it to everything. And one of the side effects of adding it to everything is that people are possibly more inclined to pick it because sugar is addictive. But also, sugar would also make you fat, so... There's a chemical found inside sausages here in the States that increase the chances of cancer. Isn't that all the nitrite and the sodium and the erythorbate, and that's in most processed meat. Egg-free omelette patty. Interesting. Ooh, I'm excited. I got some vegan fake parmesan type substitute that I've never tried before. So I'm gonna be trying it tonight, so I'm eager to see how that goes. I'm also really bummed out because my favorite fake cheese alternative, they stopped producing the best flavor they had. Like this always happens. Every time something is good and you're like, fine, I can establish a routine based in part on this thing. Well, it goes like it's discontinued and it stopped existing and you're like, why? Like, I can sort of understand when it's one of the least successful variant of a thing, but this was the flavor that was always like out of the first. Darn it. Really pissed. Aw, hi Tucker. Yes, of course we want a pic of him. Pfft, do you really need to ask? I'm always up for cat pictures. All the cat pictures in the world. Hold on, I hope I have my phone close by. Yeah, no, I don't. Oh yeah, I have. Oh boy. hold on, hold on. What? Oh, really? What was Beast Burgers? Oh, I really hate when they do this nonsense of... Like, I understand that companies like the Evolve and all of that, but it doesn't make me want to try new stuff necessarily, because I'm like, what if I like it and then eventually it's gonna run out? Shouldn't I focus on finding something that I know will forever be there and establish a routine based on that? Is what I think. Hold on. There was a tantrum I came across before starting No News September, and 2 people freaked out because someone made a vegan dinner with tofu, and they went spare when told they weren't vegan. Hold on, but tofu was invented for vegans by vegans. I think tofu was invented by Japanese people, not necessarily for vegans, but just because they had soybeans. And they curdled the soy milk, and it became tofu. The rainforest is cut down because of all the vegans wanting tofu. Erg. Yeah, that makes no freaking sense. It's like I would really love to be able to establish an element of routine in the way I deal with food, so I don't have to reinvent it every once in a while. Like, I can just follow what I've established before, and that's fine. Like, I don't have to be crafty. I can just focus on something else than freaking food. There used to be a really, really delicious type of weird kind of ramen type thing. It was instant noodle, but they were made from rice flour and soybeans. And you would basically add hot water and microwave it a bit, and it was like full of protein, and it was really handy. Like, I don't really like cooking, so I would just buy a bunch of that and eat that for lunch, and you can sort of supplement with veggies or like protein if that was not enough. And yeah, that too got discontinued. So you're like, well, I cannot. I'm so fed up of having to think up new things to eat all the time. I'm like, gosh, I'm getting old, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. Like, I don't have this glee and excitement for foods and things that take forever to prepare, and then you eat and you're like, this was so good. Most of the time it's not even that good. It's just like, oh, that's just food. Right then. The UK are really good at sneaking in palm oil to everything. Ew. No. Oh, so Beast Burgers, they were the precursor to Beyond. I felt they weren't as greasy as Beyond and came in slider version. Oh. Maybe they will reintroduce the slider format if Beyond gets enough of a foothold. That would be cool. I live in America, the land of self-destruction. Dude, that would be a great t-shirt. Oh, I'm messing up real bad here. Like, the pants are basically the same color as the blanket now. Good job, Eve. Good job. I'm gonna blame it on being tired. I guess I can do that. Oh, I could try something I don't do often, which is had to stop eating Dove Galaxy because they slapped a rainforest sticker on it, but second ingredient was palm oil. What? Oh, that's nice. Cool pattern. Huh. I'm not mad. I kind of like the pattern in the pants here. That's kind of cute. Back in my days. I'm already a back in my days kind of person. Oh, vegan cheesecake. It's really difficult to try and only get sustainable foods. Mostly because they will put palm oil into everything. And you cannot really check just how accurate their claims of being rainforest friendly actually are. Like it's difficult to figure out. I kind of miss, I know it exists, but it's really expensive and they don't always have it at the store, but I really miss Nutella. I can get a dairy-free vegan Nutella, well, not by that brand name, it's a different brand. And they sometimes have it in a local grocery store. Or I can order it online, but it's like so expensive. And it's like, well, it's also not very good for the waistline because it's basically like chocolate hazelnut icing. Oh, bye Beth, thank you so much for stopping by. What's the FSC? I think one of the best possible attitude to try to go for as possible, like not necessarily go 100%, but the best you can do is still better than nothing. Oh yeah, Nutella is to be eaten by the spoonful. I completely agree. It is spoonful material, sadly. But I think it's to buy local things when it's possible. I don't think it's possible to buy everything local, but there's always a couple of things that you can sort of get that are made locally. Or sometimes it's gonna be silly things like I'm trying to think of example, but there's a local company that does granola cereals. So if it's within one's budget and one's taste, it's not a bad idea to get these cereals because at least they're made here. And I feel like that can help sort of navigate the really difficult waters of fair trade and rainforest friendly and all this stuff that it's not super easy to figure out. But then again, it's not perfect either. And I'm always like, well, like I live in Canada, so in season we get decent stuff, but the rest of the year we have to import everything because the soil is frozen solid, so we're not getting much veggies and fruits in the winter. Oh, whoa, Maureen, that's intense. I walk 9 miles to school each day, uphill both ways in cardboard shoes. What? Oh, cheesecake. Cut down on the carbon footprint. At least there's that. That's a good point. Like, if you buy local, it didn't have to travel across the world to get to you, so that's kind of a decent way to do it, a small difference. It's kind of why I'm mad at PETA personally, because they don't factor in that small differences are better than no differences at all. And they are so absolute in their way of thinking most of the time that it's not helpful to anyone. Like, I would rather someone has one meal per week where they make an effort to not have any meat, not have any dairy, like one vegan meal per week, than them never doing anything. Like, sure, they don't want to go full vegan, fine, but if they bother to go have one vegan meal out of, say, 21 in a week, that's not bad. That's 52 less meal in a year. That's definitely better than nothing, right? So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm rambling. I could be rambling. Alright, so Heather, I can show the pictures, right? Yeah, PETA are problematic. Oh, what a cutie face! Oh my gosh, what a sweet boy. I can show these, right? I want to wait for a confirmation before showing these. Another thing that PETA says that I find completely disconnected is well, I hope it's not the whole movement, but definitely some members say that they would prefer that every house pet be free and wild, and that's a terrible idea. Oh, that's funny, Maureen. Okay, so the cardboard shoe story is your mother's story for when people complain about things being hard. They've killed a lot of dogs over that ideal. Yeah, no wonder why. It's so silly. It should be the other way around, actually. They would sooner put an animal down than find it in your home. There's a really big flaw with your thinking if you're sort of going about it that way. Oh my gosh, I can't with them. Like, my mindset. Are you what? Val says, remember when everyone ganged up on PETA when they insulted Steve Irwin on the day he died? One side of me is really, really offended, and the other side is really, really not surprised. I can show the pictures, right, Heather? Like, PETA is absolutely disconnected from reality. They have no idea what the reality of the pets, the reality of it all is. Like, they stay glued to these stupid ideas that are completely unrealistic and that make no sense and that no one will ever what's the word I'm looking for? No one will ever make that happen. Yeah, I mean, not to say that Steve Irwin was an angel and a perfect person, but you don't you don't insult someone who just died. Or if you do, you're gonna get a lot of backlash. I mean, it's you know, it's just a matter of decency, perhaps. I want to show the cat pictures. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Yeah, their timing was... And I'm pretty sure that they never felt bad about it for real. Like, they probably just went, well, I don't really care. Good thing he died, probably. You know, just like, guys, you might not love the guy, that's fine. But he was still a person, and he was not one of those disgusting, like, cock brother. Sorry, that's their name. What can I say? Like, I draw the line as at the point where someone's behavior will be so obviously disrespectful of other humans. That's where I draw the lines. Like, I feel like Steve Irwin was not perfect and did a lot of things wrong, but I don't think he ever went about it from a place of wanting to hurt people or not caring about animals. Like, perhaps he did things clumsily and in hindsight really not the most efficient way, but I really don't think it ever came from a place of not caring about animals. And other people, politicians, big money people, you can really see how much they don't care about other people, and that's kind of where I stopped caring too. Like, if you cannot empathize, why should I why should I make an effort to empathize with you? Like, I'm gonna make an effort to not empathize with you. That's true. Ellen says he made an entire generation give a poop about conservation. That's something, at least. Hold on. Oh, ouch. Oh, come on. Alright. I don't know why... Oh yeah, I guess I can see why. Anyway. It's really peculiar to see Steve Irwin's kids all grown up now, like adults, and they might even have kids by now, but and they still do work like in their father's footstep, and I think that's pretty cool to see. Like, it's kind of like it reminds me in the feel a bit like when you have some royal families. Like, not saying that I'm in favor of royal families, but it's nice to see them still be part of popular culture and to sort of continue the, at least, well, in case of the Irwins, the work their father did. I'm gonna stop talking. I don't have words anymore. I'm gonna show cat pictures. Alright, so this is Tucker. The tabby is Tucker. And the guy talking is the neighbor. Such a cute boy. Oh, I love when they have darker paws. That's so cute. Mom! And oh my gosh, this is Bandit. Hold on, Let's try and flip it. Flip. Flip. Okay, not flipping. Oh. My face when it's Monday. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, good grief. I really hope the neighbors don't come on the mic as loud as I can hear them. So, Linus is still doing really good. He's still quite enjoying life as an indoor cat. I don't know if he tries to... Like, he's a really curious cat, so he tries to run out the door when it's open, but it's mostly because he's curious to see what's outside of the door. He should be getting his snip operation quite soon. There's one of the neighbors around here that has such a gorgeous cat. Like, I have no idea what kind of mixing led to this cat. Pretty sure it's a lady because she's basically has orange, dark, and really light fur. So she has the 3 colors. So I'm thinking that she's a lady cat, but she's basically has the pattern very faintly of a mackerel, not a mackerel, a regular tabby, you know, the rounds and all of that, but she's also pretty much sort of a dark point coloring, in the sense that her head, the paws and the tail are much darker than everything else, but she's, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I think I might have picture. What's your main source of income? Is it art commissions of something else? My source of income is not really substantial at all. Commissions are great because usually the whole amount of the commission goes to me. Ko-fi, whenever people feel like using Ko-fi, that's good. AdSense money from YouTube is perhaps the more constant, but also Patreon. But yeah, if you... I'm not the one to ask, Val. Seriously, look up perhaps people who are obviously more successful. If you are looking for people that are on YouTube, I can think of Mini Small, who's doing really good from what I can tell. I don't speak with her personally, but she has good partnerships and she's productive and she has good numbers and people really like her content. So, well, the super pretty cat reminded me of Havoc in terms of coloring, Heather. Let me see if I can find a picture. I would try, if you want to perhaps have a bit of a wider pool of reference, you can look up on Twitter, see what kind of artists are doing freelance work, what kind of work they do, how do they sort of go about it, try to read their bios and see what kind of images they put out. But yeah, I'm really not a good reference. I don't do a super good job at that. And I'm not saying that to be like, who is me, blah, blah, blah. It's just the reality of it is that I don't really have much experience in terms of earning income as a freelance. That's just what it is. I'm still trying to find a super pretty cat. But yeah, she's really, really unique and so pretty. And we keep we keep doing, like, we keep joking that we're gonna steal her. I'm gonna steal that cat. I might have removed the photos, which is a bummer, but also the reality of having a really small a phone with really, really small memory on it. But anyway, if I see her again, I will keep a photo and save it. But she's really peculiar, and she has blue eyes, and they're very, very cross-eyed. So I'm guessing that she's a mix between, like, possibly some kind of a Bengal tabby and a Siamese. But she's really, really pretty, so we keep making jokes that we're gonna steal her. Oh, regarding Steve Irwin, Ellen says, there is a guy named Brendan Troy Gifford on Instagram. He's like Steve reincarnated and he's adorable. Oh, that's great. I'm gonna write it down so I can check it out later too. Brendan Troy Gifford. It's really hard to make money off of art. I agree, Grouchy. Perhaps it's basic advice, but it's also very, very true in the sense that if you find something you enjoy doing, keep on doing it. Share it online. Take part in discussions with your peers on people who like the same kind of stuff or who produce the same kind of stuff. Talk to them, like react on their content, and try to form a network in the community that's based around the stuff that you enjoy doing, and keep on doing it and keep on trying to have as much fun as possible, and that should serve you somewhat well in terms of visibility and networking. And like, school nowadays is not necessarily the best way to do this stuff because of the internet, because of the way networking works nowadays. You don't need to go to school to meet up with senior members of the community, like teachers and all of that. You can do that online and bond with people differently. So yeah, so the most important thing for me would be to really try and find out what you love doing and find a way that you can do what you love doing, and that's a good place to start. She looks a bit like Crystal in terms of color point, tricolor, yeah, except that her pattern are really similar to Pecco's. Pecco, she has the white spot, but she's a tabby, so she has the, you know, the twirly whirly, the round sort of shapes on the side. Well, this really pretty cat has those markings, but instead of being like dark on the background, it's a bit like the base coat. Her base coat is a mix of silver and black hair, but really fine, so it kind of makes this light gray. And her patterns are the silver hair too, but this time it's silver and red. So it's really subtle tone on tone pattern, and it's not like solid. Oh, it's just really unique. I need to grab a picture next time I can. I was about to take a picture of her, but then I noticed that her human was just sitting on the porch nearby, and it would have looked kind of silly to just be like, oh, kitty, take out my camera and crouch down and take pictures. I was like, So I started speaking with the man instead. I was like, oh, is she your cat? And I was like, she's so pretty, she's beautiful. And he's like this gruff older man, and he was like, "Arr." And I couldn't really make out what he was saying, but yeah, it was funny. Oh, Dan, hey. Ah, that's a good quote. As Dolly Parton once said, find out who you are and do it on purpose. Wow, that's good. That's a good one, Ellen. Thanks for sharing. Oh no, free commissions, blah. Don't do that. And don't do anything for exposure either. People die of exposure. Yeah, the sales pitch we've all seen. It's like, hey, I really like your art, and I have this idea of a story that I really want to work on, and I would really love you to draw it, but unfortunately I can't really pay you right now because this is not earning any money, and blah blah blah. And if the comic ever becomes successful, you're gonna get a part of the money. And like, it's just a bit disconnected from the reality that these kind of projects, they never earn a lot of money anyway, and working on a comic is an insane amount of work that I don't think anyone should do without either being paid or without it being their own project that they can use to help promote their own skills. Like, hey, look at this comic that I made by myself, so you can see my storytelling skills, my storyboarding skills, my drawing skills, my coloring skills. Like, these are all my skills in one project that I spend time on. So it's a nice thing, but when it's someone else's story and you have to put some of your time into something where you don't necessarily get to decide how you want to make it, it gets trickier. Do you know the Twitter account at For Exposure? I think I used to follow it for a while, but then I got really depressed every time I would see, like, I would go like, hey, all the situation in which people assume that you can sort of demand stuff for free or not pay an artist just because it's artists. And I was like, ugh, I don't really need that constant reminder that people don't necessarily understand what creating art is all about. So yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Like I said, oh, okay, it's For Exposure _TXT at For Exposure. Let's write it down. When words fail you, just write it down. At. It's not gonna show. Okay, plan B. How about that? Oh yeah. 4 X Bo Jor _TXT. There you go. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, Heather. Man, your cats, they're pretty awesome. I mean, they seem like a handful, but it's a good handful. So, yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. There's a chance that next weekend the live stream is going to be on Sunday again. Not sure yet. I will try to post the live stream in advance, so you will know by Saturday next week. I don't think anyone really checks the community page, or I would write it there, but yeah. Also, there's the Discord server you can check if you want to ask about it. Like I say, Discord is like this platform for chatting. You basically create an account, it's free, and then you can log on to a server. So we have our own server, and we all just chat together. Like, it's a bit like the Sunday live stream in today's case, but all week long and without any video. But anyway, so yeah, link is in the description. Aside from that, I really hope you all have a great weekend, and a great week, and we will see each other next weekend. So take care, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Big thank you to Heather for moderating, and yeah, see you all next time. Bye bye. You want to say bye? You want to say something? No? You just want to sleep? Sleep, sleep, sleep.